Okay, so this is not the Monte Carlo video that I said I was gonna put out next. But right now, I was also really kind of actually wanting to watch this now. I don't know, there was a pull for me today to watch this. We are gonna watch Miss Americana. It was highly recommended based off of everything I've said over my past 3 Taylor Swift videos to watch this to get a better understanding. Like I said in the past videos, is that I've seen a couple of clips from this, mainly the clip about politics. What is this? Okay, so this came out last year. This came out last year.
That's Sony music right there. Sony is gonna listen to her CD today.
She's on the phone, like, she's like, I'm taking a serious call, mom, here. Like, she's acting like an adult. I went to Nashville when I was 11 or 12. I believe I was pretty kind of on the edge, still a Taylor Swift fan. It's who I partially wanted to be when I grew up, and it was the person that kind of was around my age to look up to, especially wanting to go into country music. And, I went to Nashville for Carrie Underwood and just Heart of Country. Bluebird Cafe was what that's where she first performed, I believe. I'm not sure if that's fully fact now that I think about it. But she grew up in Pennsylvania. I always thought she was literally born and raised in Nashville.
You're doing a good job at being a songwriter. You're doing a good job at being a musician. Like those pats on the head were all I lived for.
That whole pat on the head, that whole, what's the word for that? That whole, oh my god. I hate when this happens. Synonyms for acknowledgement. Approval. That's the word I'm looking for. Approval. The approval from higher people in power. For people in power being like, you're doing great. And the acknowledgement of that. And the recognition of that. There we go. What?
Right now, okay. In the big categories of album, record, song, you are not nominated.
I just need to make a better record.
Well, Reputation is a great record.
No, I'm making a better record.
So I totally feel for her in this moment. That's like it's one of the biggest musical award shows in the world. It's the ultimate recognition in terms of music and artistry. And I'm somebody who dreams about winning an Oscar and a Golden Globe or an Emmy or something that someday. But I don't, in my opinion, for those kind of awards, I don't think it's like what drives kind of any kind of artist to do something. Because personally for me, I'm like, it would be great, to eventually get those one day. But if I don't, I'm still doing what I love, hopefully. And creating things that mean something to me and something to somebody else. But as we've learned more recently, recognition by these higher institutions in terms of Grammys, Golden Globes, Oscars, Emmys, all these major award shows, I think I saw it best put, but also reaction-wise was different with Ariana Grande. This is what I'm comparing it to because this is what I know. She did an interview on Zach Sang. I'm going to insert it right here.
I didn't come into this business being driven towards things like that. Like, I just wanted to sing. All I ever wanted to do was sing and write and perform and dance around and make music. I'm honored to be acknowledged, but I don't like that becoming something that's like of importance, because it's not. It doesn't make me any greater of an artist or lesser of an artist, because all of my favorite albums don't have Grammys.
So she's saying, she's like, I watch the Grammys all the time and my favorite artist usually doesn't win, so I understand if somebody else's favorite artist doesn't win. But it's like, that's not what I'm doing it for at the end of the day. Exactly. But when she got nominated for a Grammy for Thank You Next, I was like, album has no skips, one of my favorite albums of the decade. But she was like excited and kind of disappointed. You could see when Billie was winning all of them, but she was like, happy. Somebody like this young girl is up and coming artist, great. And it was a whole Beyonce Adele moment between them two. But even if it's not the reason you do it, you still want it. Everybody, it'd be nice to have it. So I definitely feel for her in this moment. Although, because some of the best artists don't win Grammys or don't when Oscars or Tony, some of these amazing people don't get the recognition. There's a lot of money behind the scenes in these award shows. It's a lot of politics, sadly. Yeah, I don't think it should be the full reasoning of you doing something, because it doesn't validate or invalidate your work. Her saying kind of like, I'm gonna put out a whole nother album. Who said anything about the last album being bad? Just because it didn't get nominated for a Grammy does not mean it's bad. If you try to top yourself every time, where's the end of that, you know? That's a long, drawn-out opinion of this whole part, but it's something I've seen a clip from, and I just had thoughts on it, so. That's really cool to see the lyric changes, because I do know that song, and there's a lot of changes in that first verse. And in terms of timing, too.
There's so much pressure going into putting new music out. If I don't beat everything I've done prior, it'll be deemed as like a colossal failure.
This is how I view like music albums. I think they're all from different periods of your life, so they tell different stories at parts of your life. So the album you wrote when you were 15 is not the same person you are. It's not the same talent. You've grown from that point, you know, you've gotten better. But in terms of like how an album is received, you could have one really good, strong album, and then the next one not received as well, not positive, and then the next one be really great. Be hit and misses for different albums. It literally is all subjective. You're not gonna please everyone in terms of music, because not everybody, like, what you have envisioned is not the same like style for everybody, and it's such a broad area. But yeah, you feel like you need to better yourself.
Everybody in music has their own sort of niche specialty thing that they do.
Yeah.
That, you know, sets them apart from everybody else.
Hers is like storytelling, songwriting. Yeah.
My storytelling is what it is for me.
Yeah. When you look at the people who have won the awards, Billie Eilish, I know, plays a lot into writing her music and producing it, because her and her brother I have yet to see her documentary. I really want to watch it. I'm not a big fan of her music. I don't listen to it and look forward to it as much. I'll listen to a few songs here and there. I'm really interested to see her process. This whole process I think is really interesting, but these like other like kind of pop focused albums, I don't know how much is focused. Like, the thing I know about Taylor Swift is that the three artists I know that are fully invested in the creative process of their music coming to life are Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and Billie Eilish. They all have a part in that. Besides that, I have no idea. So I think there's less songwriters and people fully invested into it. I don't know if it was ever released. Ooh, I wonder if no. Is she re-recording her debut album, her self-titled one? Do we know that? I have heard no talk about that. Honest in me, the other on my heart.
I was in country music and I was doing like a very spectacle type live show, and I remember thinking, this feels like a dream, this feels like a dream, this feels like a dream. But when you're living for the approval of strangers,
oh, there's sometimes I forget this ever happened, honestly. Oh, there's many times I forget this even ever happened. And then Taylor Lautner gave it to her. I was obsessed with them. I loved them. She doesn't, I cannot believe she's like over 30. That blows my mind.
yeah, there's a part of me that feels like I'm 57 years old, but then there's a part of me that's like,
that makes
definitely
me
not ready
feel
to have kids, definitely not ready for all this grown-up stuff.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think it.
Well, that's what it is. Happy that worked out for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's really what it is.
See, that's me. I've had cancer, so like it's something you do have to laugh about. And people from the outside who haven't had it are just like, you are like so rude for laughing about cancer. It's like, no. If you've gone through it, the only way to get through it is through laughter. The way me and my friends kind of joked about it, the fact that I went through it at such a young age, it's hysterical in hindsight. Sure, it was scary in the moment, but very soon I did not want it to affect the way I lived my life. So that's like, you laugh at it. Humor and laughter is the way you get through heartbreak.
In any way proud of it, but I tend to get triggered by something, whether it's a picture of me where I feel like I looked like my tummy was too big, or like someone said that I looked pregnant or something, and that'll just trigger me to just starve a little bit, just stop eating.
That's always been something that's been talked about, and I've taken all these classes and they talked about it, about how from it's always been a conversation point of women and weight and portrayal and how they're supposed to look, like these Victoria's Secret models. There's weight restrictions on things for certain jobs or things like that, and especially if you're in the public eye, it's I can only imagine how much more that's alarming. You know, it's magazines point out every little weight gain with a woman, but not much with the men, you know. But if it is men, it's more of a positive thing. I personally, like, when I was in probably 4th or 5th grade, it happened very early on. I kind of developed an eating disorder. I would not eat, but I would eat very, very little. Like, I would eat cheese crackers and water. That's all I would eat. And I did that because I was at my family physician doing a physical, and you know, they weigh you at these things, and I still am subconscious when I go in to weigh. But when your doctor says to a 9-10-year-old that you're obese, you're overweight, like, you need to lose weight, does something, especially to a child. Like, I was already starting to feel insecure, going through puberty, about to be going through that. So hearing that, I was probably 120 something pounds, 20-30 pounds, and I went down to 99, and we had our like school physicals that we would do in school, and I got so excited when I was below 100. I was never really diagnosed with an eating disorder. I've only learned more about this stuff as I've grown up, and there's been more knowledge of it. I just thought, oh, I'm dieting to lose weight, you know. I didn't know anorexia was a thing or something. I didn't know any of that until a couple years later. I was like, oh shoot, what I did was basically become anorexic and just basically almost stopped eating. I did that when I was 10. I never went back to that doctor. We changed doctors almost immediately, my mom. It's not something you say to a child. I was always self-conscious about my weight. Sometimes I still am, but I'm more confident now, honestly. This is the year of confident me. And
because if you're thin enough, then you don't have that ass that everybody wants. But if you have enough weight on you to have an ass, then your stomach isn't flat enough. It's
that whole Kim Kardashian or like Marilyn Monroe.
Impossible.
This documentary is different than any other documentary you would see on a musician, is because her public persona versus her as a person behind that public persona, she got kind of put on this like good girl thing because she was looked at as this little good girl because she was young when she got into the business. And I feel like she's only more recently gotten out of that persona, because it was always, it was called out when Folklore and Evermore and everything came out, when she would curse, like major curse words, you know, like she's fucked in the head, or the man talks shit, he don't know me, I don't know him nothing. So seeing that kind of like human being who curses Like, it was made such a big deal when she did because of the good girl persona. So seeing this, her like a fucking human being, is really refreshing, honestly. And you know what? Good for her.
Give you the latest can't look away twist in one of America's favorite celebrity feuds.
I'm sorry, that guy was covering the Kanye West Taylor Swift feud at the Republican National Convention. Sir, there are clearly more important things happening behind you, like the state of the world. I'm assuming that's 2016. There's clearly not anything important happening behind you. I restate that.
Where in the video is Kanye telling me he was going to call me that biatch in his song?
Swift writing, I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative.
See, that's the thing. I took that whole scenario, that whole situation as what it was. And that was, okay, here's the phone call of her saying all this. Before I even knew, like, fact-checking and looking at the whole big picture, you know? I've learned that now in hindsight, because 2016 I was starting to learn a lot about misinformation in media and how things are portrayed. And she's right. Nowhere in that video does he talk about that specific line.
We're people who got into this line of work because we wanted people to like us, because we were intrinsically insecure, because we liked the sound of people clapping because it made us forget about how much we feel like we're not good enough. And I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm tired of it.
I don't fully agree with that, actually. I don't think everybody got into this business for the love of fans. I feel like you get into that business because you love what you do and you just want to maybe share it, but it's not the one thing that, it shouldn't be the one thing that drives you. But then again, I don't know what I would do if I was in her shoes. I don't know if I would have a different point of view of that. But from my point of view outside of that, I think if the full reason you're doing what you love, especially in something that's in a public eye, is for validation, you're not doing it for the right reasons. Because you're not going to get validation from everyone. You're not going to please everyone. Because if you do it for that sole reason, you're going to get hurt.
It just feels like it's more than music now at this point. And just
I can see that.
Most days I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
But then sometimes I'm just like,
how did
for
she
my
meet
own
Joe?
personal sanity.
I feel like he came out of nowhere, honestly.
I also was falling in love with someone who had a really wonderfully normal, balanced, grounded life.
He was an actor, but he's not
And we decided together
super
that
well known.
We wanted our relationship to be private.
She chose a different route for her relationship. That was the big thing. It wasn't public. I think a big part that helped and was different from her past relationships was the fact that she kept it private. It still is very private. I don't believe they've ever gone out in public or done a public, like, red carpet or anything like that. They've shown support of each other through, like, speeches when he's won awards for, like, BAFTAs and things like that, and when she's won awards for music and songwriting, because I know he's played a part in that. But they've never done anything really publicly, and I think that's shown a positive look on her relationship. I think she figured out the key. She figured out the key. Don't date publicly. I've seen that a lot, where people will date public people, and then they decide, let me private, so I'm a more normal person that's not in the public eye, more privately, and that's it. That literally changed the whole perspective of it. You keep your life private, there's some normalcy in that. There's not as much pressure in that.
You're in the motel bar. Or like,
yeah, I'm in the getaway car, left you in the motel bar, took the money
in the bag, and I stole
took the money
in the bag, and I stole the keys. That was the last time you ever saw me.
How does somebody's brain, like, literally, I've seen so many clips of people, like, playing a beat, and they're like, we need the next lyric, and they get it within, like, 30 seconds. I'm like, how the hell? What? I want your brain and creativity.
That was the last time you ever saw me. Driving the getaway car, we were flying, but we never get far.
I know I tend to make
it about me. I know you never get just what you see, but I will never.
He's an amazing vocalist. The fact that he did that sick, fuck you.
Their opinion is so ignorant.
They don't know what they're talking about.
I think they are the ditzy twits.
When a woman speaks out about her
The
political
dumbest bimbos, with due respect, I have seen.
These
affiliations,
are callow, foolish women who deserve to
and
be
it's
slapped
not
down.
Absolutely.
the right, they're looked at as
Throughout my
dumb.
whole career.
That, I think, is also the problem that there's been in terms of women in media in putting up with so much for so many years, and that of course changed in like 2017 when a deal of women spoke out. It's like, I'm done with this bullshit. No, I'm tired of being this like nice girl that's just gonna sit there and take it. No, I'm gonna fucking say something. Because these people don't deserve to be in power. And I'm not standing down and being silenced. I'm not being... The whole idea of women being seen, not heard. Fuck that. No. For years, so many women are just taught to sit there and just take it and just, you know... We've seen from David Letterman, just reminded me, Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears were all like told disgusting things during interviews, and they just kind of just like they can't say anything because like it's a giant thing. You could get your career torn down. No, it should be the opposite way. He said that his career gets torn to pieces because these people are held at high standards. Somebody says something against them, it's not them who gets torn down, it's the person who said something. That's fucking twisted. All my classes I've taken this semester,
People who saw him do this,
and we've talked about this. It's fucking ridiculous.
I was
Why
so
are you questioning
angry.
her? Why not
I was
him for what he
angry
did?
that I had to be there.
The rain came pouring down when I was drowning. That's when I could finally breathe. And by morning,
I need her to release a live of this tour because I wasn't a fan of Clean, but this live version, you are fucking kidding me. You're kidding me.
The other thing, just from a security
So you
standpoint,
think
Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that.
I mean, so many
I'm
have.
sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that.
See how this is like a bunch of white men trying to silence a woman about her political views because it might damage her career when the person she's trying to speak up against literally became the president of the United States while he is an absolute and utter asshole and pig.
Everything that we need to expect. Number one, president can come after you.
Yeah, fuck that, I don't care.
Bad
I mean,
press
nobody
for
cares at
saying
this point for
don't
that.
put on. Note how Republicans are attacking Taylor Swift's intelligence instead of her ideas. They don't respect women enough to debate them.
Yes,
Not true.
yes. I really should have made so many tearaway clothes for the first bit of her
The
career.
female artists that I know of have reinvented themselves 20 times more than the male artists. They have
said
to,
it earlier.
or else you're out of a job.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Constantly having to reinvent.
Yeah.
Constantly
Wow.
finding new facets of yourself that people find to be shiny.
Whoa, that just blew my mind. That is so true. That
She
always that
won
was
by being a female, applying to the kind of female males want us to be in a horrendous 1950s world.
Oh my god.
the game was rigged, the ref got tricked, the wrong ones think they're right, and you were outnumbered. This time.
Oh, I gotta listen to this.
Only the young.
I'm trying to be as educated as possible on how to respect people, on how to deprogram the misogyny in my own brain.
Man, me watching
Toss
this.
it out like there is no such thing as a slut.
Hey,
There
fucking
is
man.
no such thing as a bitch. There is no such thing as someone who's bossy. There's just a boss. We don't want to be condemned for being multifaceted. Oh, I tried to practice my songs, but I completely psyched myself out and broke down crying. I don't know if I can do this. I want it so bad, but I get so scared of what might happen. Relax. I can handle it. I'm young. I'm talented. They'll see it in me. I've got to hang on.
What the fuck is happening? I don't. Explain why I'm getting emotional. watching this took me back to when I was like a giant fan of hers and like wanted to be her, you know? And how much I never just realized how much I related to her. Like, so much of this was relatable, and I never took the time, sadly. And I regret that, of course, now. My gosh, I never gave it even, oh my gosh. Oof. It just took me back to when I was a kid, and I had dreams kind of like her. I dreamed of singing and everything, and life took a switch, and it's not what I'm passionate. I have a passion for it still, but it's not something I feel like is my strong point. I love to sing, but I don't have the creativity to create something like some of these amazing artists do. But it just brought me back to that little girl that dreamed of being like Carrie Underwood or Taylor Swift. Because I dreamed big when I was younger. I really did. I really enjoyed watching this. I did. It's really good. If you have any other recommendations for me, let me know. I will gladly look at them. This was an experience. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed. There's a lot of things I talked about in this, and I was very open about opinions and thoughts and personal experiences, so that was awesome.